afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting and everything amazing Propagandacaster. Your host from Imperial Dane, the one, the only master of propaganda. Off here to 1 vs 1 on Crossroads. Yes, indeed, the lovely roads that are crossed. In the north, it is Pureimagination nation fighting for America, democracy, corporate interests. Taking on the role here of the 1st Armored Division tasked with breaking through the Nazi lines under the command here of Ashablois, fighting for the Wehrmacht, Germany, Deutschland, das Reich. Taking on the role here of the 352nd Infantry Division, backed up by a variety of other units. We got here Lightning War, Jaeger Infantry, and Mechanized Assault, with Infantry, Mine, and Panzerfaust Bulletins. Scratch that, not 352nd. Rather, it would be, let's just go with the 106th Panzer Brigade. Quick shift there. Anyways, we've got what is clearly here going to be a T2 rush here from Ashablois, hence why I skipped from 352nd, meaning no grenadiers and more focus on Panzer Grenadiers. Also note here there's a little trick now where people get sort of cut and stuck and why they sort of lay down next to the bit of sandbags so they can sort of jump over that one. Little note there. Our Pioneers setting up, moving east was the MD42 Pioneers, aggressive sort of land grab there by Ashablois. Also aggressive spread out there with Pureimagination going here for an Assault Engineer squad. It's a bit of rare we see Assault Armour Company in early games, but there are some players who like to go in their own directions with the Machine Gun and Tank and Infantry. Moving aggressively here towards the fuel pond there with the MD42. Not the Pioneers, by the way. So going to spot ahead for an MD42, but rather MD42 that leads the way there. Second MD42 almost down there for Ashablois. And we'll probably be seeing either then, maybe one thing more or a fast move then towards Tier 2 and some Panzer Grenadiers. But particularly versus the Americans as of late, it is a very common sort of, shall we say, Wehrmacht strategy. Just skip the first tier entirely and just move straight for the Panzer Grenadiers. Second draft squad almost down there for Pureimagination. Pioneers sort of veering off towards the west here as the other support here, the MD42, but running line of sight rather than them not moving ahead. Probably anticipating there's an MD42 waiting. Oh, moved a bit too fast there. Pioneers Assault Units in the west. MP40s versus the M3 Grease Gun. 5-man versus 4. Obviously, that is very much an easy win there for the Assault Engineers and Ashablois. Very wisely pulls off the Pioneers. Second in 4-2 moving in. They will probably set up around the calf point. Good move there. Need to take up if the Panzer Grenadier rush is the plan. So there we go. Set up here. Pureimagination quickly gets away from that one before getting his men hosed down. Take up there for Ashablois. And we're able to very quickly, as soon as the take is done, get out the Panzer Grenadiers. Rather than moving up here, looking to outmaneuver potential MD42. Then in this case, though, not quite there. Ashablois was sort of anticipating that, but first went for the Pioneers, though, would have been able to get through. So, I mean, in this regard, we can sort of see how, shall we say, the map also plays and how most players play it out. He sort of gives sort of indicators how things could have happened. And again, had this not been Ashablois and some less experienced players, this would probably have pulled off. The Pioneers hadn't been there. So, I mean, definitely a deft and good flanker there to an extent, though. In this case, apparently keeps thinking the MD42 is not going to keep sticking around there. At the same time, they got a second deagle flank here from the rifle squad. 2 thumbs up there to Pureimagination. This time, the MD42 will not be safe. In this regard, we can sort of see the slight flaws there in Ashablois' current tactical setup, which, never mind, got caught here point blank by the MD42 right as someone stepped in those feet out too far. Still, it was a close one there. Probably should have gone for a slightly deeper flank there, but either way, though, like to see some good flanking there from Pureimagination. This time, we got Ashablois here realizing, we need some mines to cover up the flank there. So very good there. Panzer Grenadiers squad halfway done there. And I imagine we got tech as well here for Pureimagination. Yes, indeed, company command post, captain, and likely pack houses to help counter the heavy machine gun emphasis there of Ashablois and the 106th Panzer Brigade Feldherrnhalle, which was in fact the only Panzer Brigade which would not either be upgraded to a full division, disbanded, or basically sort of, pushed into another unit. Which was basically what happened was got disbanded. The remnants would be used as replacements for other units. So a little fun fact there. And there guys, man's going off, killing several assault units, leaving the house also structurally in a very bad spot. We got flamethrowers up there, but clearly did not anticipate the S-mines there. Good work there by Ashablois, and also shows why S-mines can be good, because as it turns out, not a lot of Armour players actually use them very well or consistently, so a lot of players will actually be a bit surprised when all of a sudden their men start exploding. And there's no tanks or artillery nearby to be seen. Half-Tech on the way to Pureimagination, a fast rush there, but again, I'm expecting a pack out at some point, but the Half-Tech can also be good, since it can suppress, meaning Panzer Jaegers can also find themselves a bit of a hard time there. They got flamethrowers up, the heat for Ashablois to burn through. Pureimagination Infantry, Ashablois will need some vehicles or anti-tank of their own to take on the M15A1 anti-aircraft Half-Tech out there from Pureimagination, the 1st Armoured. MD42 moving ahead here. Fun fact about Panzer Brigades, they're actually the first sort of, shall we say, armoured unit, or sort of unit where the Panzer Grenadiers were actually extensively equipped with assault rifles. Before that, this wasn't actually that common. Most Panzer Grenadiers, in fact, were equipped with like more light machine guns than the average grenadier. But sort of the Panzer Brigade, sort of the first unit, sort of formalised heavy assault rifle equipped units. So, little fun fact there. Little fun fact there. MG42 has the anti-aircraft after. You've got us moving up here, so the right flank is wide open. At the same time, the left flank is kind of open. The MG42 needs to fall back soon. They're waiting to send the armor piercing rounds ready. Could take it on. Actually, might have a chance now. And there you go. Looks like Pureimagination is the start there. Realizes that start is not good. That is not a star of freedom. That's a start of insanely armor piercing rounds going straight up the tailpipe. Rifleman duking up with the Panzer gunners there. Half-track crew popping out there to quickly ascertain the damage and fix it up with a bit of tape and freedom stuff. Whatever that is. Probably stale rations. Like to make a nice company up there for Ashablois. Panzer's moving forward there. 2 squads plus the rifle inside there. Focusing 1 squad there should do the chicken to the 1 lone health. Might want to slightly moving up here on the flank. Then again, could have made it easy for them to reinforce. All the way, they're pushing forward here. Taking some cash, but as soon as 1 squad is forced to right, the other one also has to fall back. Since 2 assault rifles equipped units at reasonable range can quickly do a lot of damage to an infantry unit. Ashablois, by the way, has still yet to pick a doctrine, though at this point, lightning war seems very likely, though. Mechanized assault, of course, is another option here for Ashablois. And the 106th Panzer Brigade Feldherrnhalle. Upon stepping seat, ME4 coming up the western fuel point. Back here we got a bunker up for Ashablois and the 222 Leichte Panzerspeerwagen on the way for Ashablois as well. Half tracking westwards there, and Pioneers are rapidly routed on fire here from the M15A1 half track. As for Pureimagination, well, actually no pack houses. Again, guessing the half tracks having sufficient success here for Pureimagination to decide, you know, don't need artillery, at least not for now. Lots of action there, lots of manoeuvre. Now the player sort of the dollar just tries to sort of break things down through the sheer force of will and immense casualties. Back here, troops reinforcing. Healing will also soon happen. Got the 2-2 ring up. They'd like the Panzerspeerwagen. Also, Telemann down there from Ashablois. Thumbs up. As long as the 2-2 doesn't set it off by accident. Seizing points here with the rifleman. Got crew there also fixing up the half-track at the same time. Ooh, 2-2 takes some mine. Very good work then by Ashablois in mining up. I mean, a lot of American players tend not to lay down mines as part of having assault units and all that stuff. But again, mines can be overall very effective. Even like they don't, you know, wipe out a unit or destroy a tank or anything like that. They can just be very disruptive on their own. And in that regard, disruption can be really good. Pack Carton on the way though. Pack 40 on the way. Medic bunker on the way there. Still no sign of doctrine there from Ashablois. 2-2 there versus El Capitan of Pureimagination. Also mines was up there from Ashablois. Helps with repairs, but of course also with mines. So should be able to spot any mines now from Pureimagination, unless of course the Pioneers are nowhere to be seen. Half coming up here. Machine gun falling out in this case, lack of munitions and also poor condition of the machine gun crew compels Ashablois to preserve them for future fights against the Americans. MG42 setting up there. Nothing further going on than Ashablois base. I mean, again, the fuel harassment has been very much in favour of Pureimagination so far, so Ashablois it's not going to be able to take up fast for any armour, and likely what Pureimagination, of course, will be doing is pushing for tanks first. So thumbs up there to Pureimagination, taking advantage of the lead, and again, on a map though, like Crossroads, it's also much more easy to achieve because it has more points than average. So if you just get most of the map, you can easily get in so much more fuel than your opponent compared to like the average map. So that's a little detail there worth keeping on. We've got the Panzer there, that's the half track. 4 killed, closing in on Veteran T1, rifling up there as well. Got the Pack 40 shooting and missing spectacularly. Pioneers set up, and there you go. Half track takes a hit there from the Pack 42 moving from the other side. Nope, oh wait, there are no units with anti-tank rifle grenades over here to Pureimagination. Partly due again, I think, to the way sort of the initial engagement has gone off. There we go. Half track's going to go down to the 2-2. Good kill there. Might lose the 2-2, but I would say 2-2 for a half track. Even the crew survives is pretty good there for Ashablois. I mean, there's the theoretical the crew experience, but the thing is, most American players, like even the good ones, rarely use this ability to like switch out crews between vehicles and tanks. Actually, you know, gain faster experience there, despite actually in a lot of cases being really powerful. So I mean, that's not necessarily a big threat there, though. Again, an experienced crew could be a problem for Ashablois. Say like a fast Sherman suddenly, you know, already had Veteran T1 or Veteran T2. I mean, that'd be a Sherman already there with potentially high rate of fire already, which of course would be bad news for Ashablois. Treating there, another Panzer Grenade squad on the way there, very good. MG42 there hosing down the crew. West side there, big push by Ashablois machine gun pioneers. Panzer gunners there, making a quick corridor for the western fuel point. Good play there. Aggressive, but at the same time not recklessly so. Not recklessly so. MG42 there falling back to 2 neat repairs. And there you go, 3rd Panzer Grenadier squad ready, so that's a total of 3 infantry squads. Very good. Also what I usually call the more recommendable minimum. Took a bit while to get there, but at least we are there now. We got the M1 anti-tank gun out here for Pureimagination. Still some time here, and there we go. Ashablois commits to Jaeger Infantry. I'm a bit surprised at that one. I kind of would have figured Lightning War mechanized assault at this stage. And again, for Tiger tanks and the likes, in particular, like Lightning War also has stupid close air supports. I mean, obviously, if there's intention of using ambush camouflage and all that, sure, great. But if not, it seems a bit curious there. Could have also been a misclick, I suppose, which we never can entirely rule out. So, of course, I'm not going to be too harsh there. Panzer then moving up there, go quick to Baltaladnung, a World War I era tactic. That's a little fun note there, basically bundling together a lot of Stielhandgranate warheads to prop one Stielhandgranate, then chucking it away there. Used to clean out trenches and also used as an early anti-tank weapon. Also at the start of World War II, it was used like that. If you just like, pop that grenade and say the engine block of a tank, it's going to do some serious damage. So, little fun fact there on tactics. Could add a Jaeger command squad, that would be a pretty good addition there for Ashablois. 5-man infantry squad with a bunch of G43s never hurts you, it hurts the Americans though. Which is obviously, if you're the Germans, what you're looking to do. Packhouse then pursued by a large assault force here by Ashablois. Packhouse crew, they're getting hosed down, and there we go, we do get the command squad as well out here. Packhouse crew annihilated in a shower of bullets there. Excellent push there by Ashablois, completely caught off guard, Pureimagination there. Wasn't able to get the Packhouse back, they caught him from the machine gun bunker. Still, nice push there, clears out the crew at the very least. If we could bring up as anything to destroy the Packhouse, that'd be great here for Ashablois. We got the 2 to rush in to do lightly that. Though in this case, doesn't look like it's going to be able to do it since Pureimagination rushes forwards. Obviously intent on keeping that Packhouse. Panzer squad, they're close, being wiped out. Might want to pop a Vuln grenade here to cover up the retreat. Or not. 2-2 sort of footing here. Could maybe try and raid the base for an ambulance. Assault need to take losses. Need to be careful with that anti-tank gun. Panzer they're gaining veterans who are the veterans who are guns there as soon as the 2-2 gets close, but head to retreat anyways. MD4 sitting up here. Pack cards is close. There's a bit risky there for Ashablois to keep it there for long. Down south, points being seized. A lot of action here now. Ashablois the ones with more control again. That Panzer Grenade push really just for Pureimagination. Though now, of course, with most of the forces routed, the machine guns are slightly untenable positions. Ashablois' lines are likely kind of battle rapidly. Back here, troops reinforcing. Take off Ashablois on the 107th Panzer Brigade. Once they're being seized, the Panzer Brigade came about alongside roughly the same time as the Volksgun Division, which is roughly after the losses of Operation Backration on Normandy. They sort of quickly tried to form a lot of new units, which were meant to be like more modern units. And the Panzer Brigade was still like the armoured version of that, based off the Fire Brigades off the Eastern Front. They were also primarily intended for the Eastern Front, but a lot of them saw deployment on the Western Front, where they performed less well because they're specifically designed for fighting the Soviets, which operated rather differently from the British and the Americans. So, little fun facts. Then we got a bulldozer Sherman out there from Pureimagination, 105mm Sherman. I believe they have roughly, I think, 2 of those per Sherman battalion, if I'm not mistaken. Little fun fact there. This sort of roughly served the same purpose as a Stu 42 would in a Stu Brigade, which is clearing out dug-in units. Panzerwing 48, bonus that quick clears up. We got a lot of G43s now. Rifles sort of charge in there, less effective since the G43s are better at range than the assault rifles, but up close, the assault rifles generally are the ones that are better there. So it seems a bit like a curious timing there, but that's just me. MG42 moving about, very good. Though of course need to be careful not to move too far ahead either. Can build the support McCall now, or could cancelled it. Alright, figure would have stepped stuck to maybe going for tier 4 here. In particular, the lead sort of Ashablois here managed to gain on Pureimagination, maybe trying to push for a fast heavy Panzer Corps and maybe rush out a Panther could be an idea, in particular now where it's not a Tiger that's exactly the end game. Though of course, Panzervolks and Stuks can also do the trick. More mines up here though from Pureimagination. Obviously keen on not having that whole thing with a large platoon of armoured panzer or heavily equipped panzermen waltzing through your lines as they sort of merrily gun down your men. Mines can do a lot there to sort of slow that down. Pack out around the panzermen is yep, actually the machine gun back. Getting them up, panzermen up with G for the fees, opening up with the assault engineers. can't really assault that. Virtually 2 gained on 1 Panzer Grenadier squad. 10 kills here. Closing in on virtually 2 there. Estonia is being ripped apart here by accurate G43 fire. Panzer then moving ahead. Kept them in a bit of a sticky spot. We got the Sherman nearby, and the Panzers need to retreat before they get hosed down. In the east, we got the 2-2 here versus the rifle squad. Sherman sitting out. So Palmer up there, first block, can go for the Panther 4. Could go for Stooks. Then you got the 8 command squad joining in the front. Tellermine and 2-2 goes down in the same explosive breath as Pureimagination is there. Hunt and Famine and the Bolus of Sherman just charges through Ashablois lines. In the west, another big push here with Panzer Grenadiers and the MG42 there. Reestland's routed in a storm of fire. Vehicle crew there. Really wishing they were actually in a tank rather than out in the open fighting as infantry, which is a fun fact was actually a much more common occurrence for German tank crews than I think Allied tank crews in general. Maybe the Soviets had that issue, but for German tank crews that was actually in several cases that the entire companies like just forced to fight as infantry. Fun fact. Comes there, they're being utterly annihilated. Caught here off guard with the Sherman and the rifle there. Not losing any scores though. He's a bit lucky there for Ashablois, to be honest. That was pretty dicey. Pureimagination might want to consider some caches down the road. And Ashablois might want to consider slowly setting up some manpower for some tanks soon. As for Pureimagination, M10 tank destroyer could be an idea to back things up with. Jackson could also be needed, just regular Shermans. More mines though from Pureimagination is thumbs up. Might want to add some ambush camouflage in those MG42s to sort of surprise the Americans a bit more effectively. They do love surprises, just not the kind that opens up with an MG42. Mines down there from Pureimagination. Panzer Jaeger's up, so mix of G43 and Panzer Shakes up there if I should put on the Panzer Grenadier. More mines down there from Pureimagination, very good. Sherman they're taking hits, so they've got a 50 caliber mounted on top, and the pack out that can sort of hammer away there at Ashablois positions. Pioneers routed by the captain. And we got the assault engineers charging at the Jaeger command squad portion way there. Panzer 4 on the way for Ashablois, very good. The Panzer Kampfwagen 4. Technically 1 and 6th Panzer Brigade will not have them. Later ones like the 111th and 12th did. It's still part of the last wave, I think second wave of Panzer Brigades, or sort of waves if you will. The initial ones were heavily equipped with Panthers, Jagdpanzers, armoured half-tracks, assault rifles and such. Later ones weren't quite as neatly as equipped, so they do with Panzer 4 Stooks and traps, for example. It's a little fun fact there. MG42 the close being wiped out. Close one there for Pureimagination and Ashablois, but not quite satisfactory there for Pureimagination. Oh, the second machine gun though gets utterly destroyed here by the pack counter. A straight up hit that just destroys it. Rough situation there for Ashablois, moving up west side there, looking like, yeah, both Panzers moving up there for a flank mission. Perhaps going to try and hit the support weapons. That'd be a good move there by Ashablois. And can of course support it further with sprints to quickly get in and clear out the support weapons. That could be quite effective. In particular with the Panzer 4 backing up, but the Panzer 4 is being deployed here in the set to the east to sort of staunch the flow of freedom into the eastern sectors there by Pureimagination. And looks like the tanks moving down here to encounter that. So theoretically again, like Ashablois could try and rush in the 2 Panzer squads to clear out the support weapons here, which could be quite effective, or at least leave Pureimagination's force in the east and a bit unsupported as suddenly the artillery goes very silent. Back here, nothing further going on. Might be setting out for another Panzer 4. Could theoretically try and go for tier 4. One to tank us away for Pureimagination, and Pureimagination by the way is just going for bulldozer Shermans. That's the second one out already. And a commitment to anti-infantry armour here, and by Pureimagination the first armoured. Graham Eastern Point here in the west. Panzer was there routed by the Sherman. Bit of surprise here. Guess there's an indication here that Pureimagination doesn't particularly feel threatened here by Ashablois Panzer 4, just really wants a lot of bulldozer Shermans. Also, oh, thumbs up there to Pure Imagination Act using the captain supervisor ability to speed up production. Nice. It would also be nice if, the crews have been, shifted about here to quickly get some more veteran Shermans faster. Ooh, Assault needs to caught by the Panther 4, noting no pendulum machine gun there. Probably setting up here for a Stuka close air support, and there you go. Lining up for an assault. Note by the way he's setting up, he's clearly going to try and move through here and sort of flank up behind. Ashablois positions here, though we got ambush camouflage there. And of course Pioneers, which actually makes it harder for Pure Imagination to sneak up, and looks like Pure Imagination realises that would not work out and breaks off instead. Good reaction there. Some players will try to force it through anyways, but Pure Imagination likely knows what will happen there and decides, that going elsewhere, not getting his men hosed down is the better part of valor. Or maybe not. Maybe decides, you know what, I'm going to try my luck anyways. Maybe he's pulling up a Sherman to lay down a smoke screen before doing it, which would be very sensible. We'll have to see if he does that, but if he does, that would be a good idea. He could, of course, also just drive through the Sherman straight ahead, not caring about smoking, just, murdering Germans. I mean, that also works if the Germans have no anti-tank weapons in the sector, which, by sheer quinky-dink, they don't. Panther move towards the centre here. In the west, we've got the centre point here, big scope by Panzer Grenadier, closing in eventually 3. Sherman ahead here, though. Straight into the back 40 and the Panzer 4. Down to less than half of them. Now the Infantry moves ahead, no smoke screen down, and we got air support called in here. Clearly, Ashablois wants that Sherman kaput. Mine goes off. Stuka Kanonenfug unleashes hell from above. Sherman goes down the mission, cooked up the Panther 4. That's caught in a pretty bad position here by the anti-tank guns and anti-tank rifle nades. About to lose the Panther 4. Would not say a Panther 4 for that bullet Sherman is entirely worth it. Noting a bit of resource boat there again by Ashablois. Panther 6 moving in. Sherman there taking a few hits. Panther 4 is about to go down. No, that Pure Imagination is running the Sherman lane to line arc of fire there of the Kanonenfug. The one has been shot down there by the Sherman there already. In fact, Panther 4 finally gives up the ghost. But the second Sherman goes down. We got artillery on hand called in here. First shot, though, fails to hit a Pat 40. Really intense engagement here, but one that ultimately did not prove particularly fruitful for Pure Imagination. Traded 2 Shermans for a Panzer 4. Which certainly gives Ashablois, I think, more time to recover. Particularly since Ashablois has more resources, though. They do seem to be a bit frozen. Well, they did lose the Panzer into the squad as well, so maybe not quite as clear-cut there for Ashablois. Until the fighters continue raining down there, shattering the ground, and potentially any squirrels nearby. Panzer there closing in T3. We got the anti-tank rooms exposed out in the open. Pioneers routed. MG4 to on watch there. Panzer 4 slowly getting away there for Ashablois. And we got to the far called on the M175mm pack howitzer. Shells exploding all around, but most of them not really making much of an actual impact, except on Earl. That made quite an impact on his life. Fatal blow. Another bulldozer I'm not here with Pure Imagination, who, for a man calling himself Pure Imagination, certainly seems to be very imaginative about what sort of things these things can pull off. I will open a way to Berlin using only these 105mm Shermans. Have you gone mad again, Sergeant? No, maybe. And his points have been grabbed. Panzer 4 almost done. Might want to get Stuks instead for those Shermans, but Panzer 4's work as well, since the 105mm Sherman isn't exactly a big threat to them either. Ashablois would benefit from a bit of extra infantry down the road here versus Pure Imagination. The Pure Imagination could benefit from getting up some weapon racks and beginning to equip his men with BARs. That would benefit him nicely. We got mines being spotted by Ashablois. Boisterous Pioneers. Panzer they're taking hits there from the Sherman, though it's returning between a few hits there. And we go MD4 to opening up the rifle, but we got another squad going for deeper flank. Good work. Another option for Pure Imagination would like to be to research grenades. That would also be, I think, a good investment there, but Pure Imagination seems less interested in those kinds of things for now. Our machine gun outmaneuvered and pushed out. North, the Swan's moving in here to attack into the cemetery, which is firmly within Ashablois' grasp. Here command squad, it was the pack howitzer, can It get killed again, and can this time Ashablois make off with him. With the Jaeger command squad, quick threat to pop a smoke grenade and then run off with it. Those round spots are good. They got Jaeger command squad as the assault engineers getting closer, but Jaeger command squad is absolutely just executing on spot there. Moving in. And that's going to be a retreat there from Ashablois. We got Finland Summers with 385. Pureimagination there definitely showing some control there, Ashablois, in terms of victory points. Captain flanking up there, trying to the Panzer IV and the Panzer Jaegers. A very quick retreat is ordered. Police can sneak up with a minesweeper, but lack of further weaponry does mean they can't make much of an impression against the Panzer Grenadier and their Panzer Jaeger friends. Propagandacaster and Point MG4 to the flank again here by Pureimagination Riflemen. Other squad caught off guard here by the Panzer IV. Ace level Panzer Grenadier. Sherman sitting out. Top chilling enforcing. Back here reinforcement. Could go for another Panther 4. Could again try and go for tier 4. Go for a Panther. Could go for Stooks. And there you go. Ashablois commits to another Panther 4. The safe choice. The standard choice. Seizing points. And we got another Panther 4 on the way there for Ashablois. Slowly but surely. Already mentioned that obviously. Just a bit of habit at times. Lieutenant on the way there. So we finally got some side check there. Likely for 50 calibers. Could have gone for this soon to maybe help contain Ashablois infantry a bit more effectively. And now with more tanks out of the way, I mean, they're not going to be completely irrelevant, but one certainly wonders if it is the optimal choice. Well, it's not a bad choice, though. Still, Ashablois is gaining a fat chunk of the map here, grabbing it back from Pureimagination once more. And there it goes, Sherman strength to the pack 40, Panzer Jaegers and the Panther IV, suffering near catastrophic damage there. Almost got that lieutenant done. Could use the captain to supervise it up, I think, to make it a bit faster. Need more fuel though, for more tanks and not just bulldozers Shermans. I would say Pureimagination, well, clearly a believer in things that most people would not believe in, and certainly a very pure and bright soul. I think has to accept their limitations to like what 100 5-minute Germans can do when the Wehrmacht, you know, barges in with Panzer IVs repeatedly. Rather than holding back, ambulance being pulled out, and we got more support here from Ashablois once more looking to silence Pureimagination's armour. Devastating series of strikes to the Estlands. Gave the Sherman there a fresh coat of paint of red as the Stukas just tore them to shreds in front of it. Panther 4 going in there, could take out the Sherman, couldn't take out the ambulance, and there you go, directed on the ambulance. Sherman shoots, misses, and that's going to be a KO there. It is worth noting, still no weapon racks there from Pureimagination, no bazookas, no bars, and no nothing. Definitely I feel a bit on the other side there by Pureimagination. And a bit of unfortunate considering the others, I would say good place there from Pureimagination. Actually failed to then commit to weapon racks and such, is unfortunate. It's very unfortunate. There you go. Jaeger command squad getting met to 316 kills, Rifleman dropping dead. Pioneer squad the white on retreat there. They were close to making it, so close, but in the end they could not outrun Uncle Sam. Captain here was the Panzer Grenadier, making their swift run. 286 versus 371. Pureimagination situation is looking a bit rough now. As Ashablois is looking in a much stronger position here with two Panther 4s, Panzer Grenadiers and Jaeger command squads with a G33s. A good chunk of the map, and you know what. Fifth comes along with Pureimagination really wants that German infantry to suppress, and there you go. Panzer's moving up here, carrying the retreat path of the assault engineers, make half of them to retreat. Could try for a bone grenade here, that's not something all can easily do and take some training to figure out how to probably get off a grenade retreat path, but a successful throw there could probably result in the white of the assault engineers there. Yeah, command squad bouncing hit, Bravo squad there getting shot to bits. 19 kills. 20 kills. Panther 4 with 8 kills. Shoots, then gets a rifle kill there. Very good. Pack howitzer on every recruit in there. Get command one for that. We got artillery called in around the pack howitzer. Might try and just destroy it. Does seem to be the case here. Or not, maybe, no. Instead, Ashablois might have been using this as a distraction to make it look like that Ashablois was actually trying to steal it, or destroy it, but actually stealing it. In which case, that's pretty cheeky. That is pretty damn cheeky. Oh, we're totally going to destroy that American artillery piece. Yeah, Jürgen, we would totally not steal it. Yeah. That would be totally unfair. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I can't believe they fell for it. Yeah, the Americans are so gullible. I once sold them a bridge in Australia. Really? Yeah. It's never found it, obviously. Seizing the point here with the pack cards. Panther falling back. Got the intention up there, going straight for the Panther 4. Both of them miss spectacularly. I'm sure it gave the crew quite a scare, but in the end that was just it. Just a scare and no scars. More parties on the Ashablois help deal with the increasing number of Panzers, of course, need repairs and maintenance. Fierce crew almost taken out in the center of the Panther 4. Of course, got the Pack 40, Pack Howitzer joining in. Not the Pack 40. There's a fun fact, there's actually a variation of the Pack 40 known as the Feldkanone Field Sick that could also double as artillery. And saw usage in the later stages of the war. Almost got the lieutenant here though. Big push there by Ashablois with infantry. Centrewards got the captain of the Panzer 4. Nasty hit, leaving most of the captain's men dead. The captain that remains alert and alive for now. Yeah, command squad, Panzers then moving ahead, going straight for the cut on. The anti-tank guns are woefully exposed. The infantry screen is just not there. The 50 caliber is also not there. In fact, it's far removed and not really helping against the advance of Ashablois. As Ashablois once more launches a dagger blow there at the carve point, straight at Pureimagination. Jaeger artillery called in as well on the 50 caliber. And that's either retreat or that's a machine gun that very well could have joined the Wehrmacht's arsenal alongside that pack howitzer. Okay, command squad going in. There we go. Panther 4 does the job. And then that is another machine gun joining Ashablois' arsenal. Rifleman halted here. There's certainly a bit more sort of franticness to Pureimagination action. No longer trying to conduct the deep flanks, just trying to go straight for the point. Things are going rapidly now. And Pureimagination might be starting to disintegrate here a bit here. Captain being used to survive something, like going to be a tank destroyer. Or just a regular Sherman this time around. Looks like the dream of the 105mm Sherman has been finally put to rest. A sad moment, I'm sure, for Pureimagination, but you know, it comes in every young man's life where he has to leave his life, dreams behind him, and wants to like the more realistic things like a proper tank. Well, as proper a tank as the Americans can ever put together, obviously. Anti-tanks on the watch, Sherman sending out. Third Panther 4 on the way to the Ashablois. No attempting going for the bigger, shinier stuff, just the good old Panzerkampfwagen 4. Sherman in there, direct hits here from the Panzer 6 on the side of the armour. A lot of munitions being floated. Definitely, I think one of the bigger mistakes of Pureimagination. Again, they weren't mines, but just either no grenades, no weapon racks. Well, I think had Pureimagination gone for those 2 million both, I think Pureimagination would have been a much better spot here versus Ashablois several times. And of course, that and less 105mm and bolus shells. But even then, if there's just been some bazooka teams to back them up and some bars, I think again that would also work a much more successful strategy. Panzers there dealing with the reaction crew, what explosively. Assault is surrounded by the Panther 4. Panther 4 taking hits from the double anti-tank guns. Reinforcing. Note there's been no replacement ambulance here for Pureimagination. Oh, mine at the base entrance. Both the crew, the assault is actually awfully close to it. And there we go. Pop goes the weasel. Panzers are going for the Sherman. Unleashing a lot of rockets straight for the frontal armor. Packhouse looks like old man to penetrating hit there on the Sherman tank. Panther forming up to support the infantry there, so they're slowly pushing ahead here. But the assault is on there, called off as Pureimagination still proves to have bite him in left. Bite in him left. Blah. Bit of a tongue twister for some reason. But that really should be match of one. Assault needs us the Panzer IV. Got the 5th cover there, could add ambush camouflage for a bit of extra lethality. Pack out on the captain. And there we go, got the vehicle crew, they're going for the centre victory point. We've got 2 points left. We've got artillery called in here on Ashablois positions by the centre victory point. Looks like Ashablois is not moving, I hasn't noticed. There we go. Whoa. First shot went completely off course there, shattered a nearby hedge, and probably countless of squirrels, but no German lives were lost in that one. Jaeger command's got to take up for a flank. Maybe could commit to the Panzer force as well, but of course knowing where the anti-tank is first would probably be helpful. We got 284 versus 198 here. Just going to assault units versus the Panzer IV. Yeah, the assault units being blasted by the Panzer IV. The Panzer Kampfwagen field artillery raining down here, shattering everything. At least almost everything. Push up the west side with Parney's machine gun and the Panzer IV. Pureimagination is holding up a small shrinking front line, but is holding it nonetheless. Showing us the assault units, rather than getting blasted by the Panzer IV. Rather than getting hosed there by the Panther IV. Panther IV taking a lot of hits there from anti-tank controls, so getting taken out there by both of them. In fact, down to our filth. Panzer coming up on the left flank. Sherman setting out once more here for Pureimagination and the 1st Armoured, as the 1 and 6 Panther Brigades proved to be quite formidable. A lot of rockets there again. Infantry in the centre getting hit there by the pack howitzer. 2 kills. Anti-tank guns flanked here. Panther rolling up the eastern side, catching off guard a few re-echelons. And finally, after so much time, we've got BARs up there for Mr. Pureimagination, though sadly no bazookas. But definitely rather late to the whole thing. Could have had that out, I think, much sooner versus Ashablois, and I think would have had a much more bigger impact, rather than now where it's rather starting to look like this is it for Pureimagination and the 1st Armoured in this sector. Like, their chances of recovering now are very, very limited. Not impossible, but just very limited. Panzer gun is moving hit, 28 kills, flanking up here with the Panzer IV though, catching anti-tank off guard. Second Panzer IV got a support corner as well. That is where will be the finishing blow here for Ashablois, the coup de grace to silence Pureimagination once and for all. There you go. Sherman about to go down. There you go. The entire thing cooks off, and the tank crews they're also now exposed out in the open. Artillery fire raining down just to make sure whatever in the area is dies. And there you go, with that Pureimagination spirit is broken. A shattering blow there to the Americans. A victory for the fatherland, for Germany. A nice fight here with some good tactics and somewhat good strategy in display. But again, Pureimagination, I think, ran some issues with the strategy. Sort of the mid-game hit. Failed to upgrade his men with BARs and or grenades and or both. And shouldn't committed to make that many bullets to Germans like some other supporting elements there. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match. Hope you learned something from it. If you did, subscribe, like, share, comment on it. Tell friends, tell family, but don't tell your enemies. This is Imperial Links and cheers. Thank you for watching. Hope to see you all tomorrow again for another episode. Bye.